Travis Victor Alexander, an American salesman, was brutally murdered by his ex-girlfriend Jodi Ann Arias in his Mesa, Arizona home while he was in the shower. The crime, which occurred on June 4, 2008, left Alexander with 27 stab wounds, a slashed throat, and a gunshot wound to the forehead. Arias claimed self-defense during the trial, but the jury found her guilty of first-degree murder on May 8, 2013. A lengthy sentencing process followed. In April 2015, after a deadlocked jury prevented a unanimous decision on the death penalty, Arias received a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole.
State of Arizona versus Jodi Ann Arias, sentencing verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action, upon our oaths, unanimously find, having considered all of the facts and circumstances, that the defendant should be sentenced. No unanimous agreement. Signed, foreperson.
The case, along with the investigation and subsequent trial, garnered extensive media attention across the United States, drawing public interest for both its violent nature and the high-profile courtroom proceedings. Background: Travis Victor Alexander was born on July 28, 1977, in Riverside, California, to Gary David Alexander and Pamela Elizabeth Morgan Alexander. At the age of 8, Travis moved in with his paternal grandparents, and following his father's death in July 1997, his 7 siblings were also placed in the care of their paternal grandmother. Alexander had a complex early life, marked by challenges and resilience. He shared with a friend that before joining a church community, he was often involved in fights. In his adult life, he pursued a career in sales and motivational speaking, working with prepaid legal services, PPL. Known for his charisma and humor, Alexander even explored stand-up comedy, performing under the alter ego Eddie Snell. Jodi Ann Arias. Jodi Ann Arias was born on July 9, 1980, in Salinas, California, to William and Sandra Arias, née Allen. She attended school up to the 11th grade before leaving Eureka Union High School. With aspirations in photography, Arias worked various jobs until she secured a sales position with prepaid legal services, PPL. In September 2006, Arias met Travis Alexander at a PPL work conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. Soon after, she converted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the faith Alexander practiced, and was baptized by him on November 26, 2006, in Southern California. Their relationship officially began in February 2007, prompting Arias to move to Mesa, Arizona, to be closer to Alexander. However, by April 2008, she returned to Eureka, California, to live with her grandparents. Over their year-and-a-half relationship, the two often dated long distance, regularly traveling between Arizona and California. Despite Alexander dating others, he and Arias maintained contact and occasionally engaged in intimate communication. Friends of Alexander who witnessed the couple together viewed Arias with suspicion, describing the relationship as tumultuous and Arias's behavior as concerning. The murder. On June 4, 2008, Alexander was brutally murdered in his Mesa, Arizona home while he was showering. He sustained 27 stab wounds, a slit throat, and a gunshot wound to the head. Medical examiner Kevin Horn later testified that Alexander's jugular vein, common carotid artery and trachea had been severed, and that he had defensive wounds on his hands. Horn also suggested that Alexander may have already been dead when the gunshot was inflicted, and noted that several wounds on his back were superficial. The death was ruled a homicide, and Alexander was subsequently laid to rest at Olivewood Memorial Park in Riverside, California. Discovery and investigation. On the evening of June 4th, Alexander missed an important conference call. The following day, Arias met Ryan Burns in the Salt Lake City suburb of West Jordan, where she attended business meetings related to the conference. Burns later recalled noticing that Arias, who had previously been blonde, now had dark brown hair and visible cuts on her hands. On June 6th, she left Salt Lake City, heading west toward California, making several calls to Alexander and leaving multiple voicemail messages. She also accessed his voicemail system. When Arias returned the rental car on June 7th, It had been driven approximately 2,800 miles, 4,500 kilometers. A rental clerk testified that the vehicle was missing its floor mats and had red stains on both the front and rear seats. However, it was unclear if the car had mats at the time of rental, and the red stains could not be analyzed as the car had been cleaned before police could inspect it. On June 9th, after being unable to contact Alexander, a group of concerned friends visited his home. His roommates reported they had not seen him for several days but assumed he was out of town, so they did not suspect anything unusual. Upon finding a key to his bedroom, the group entered and discovered pools of blood in the hallway leading to the master bathroom, where they found Alexander's body in the shower. In a 911 call, which was not played for the jury, the dispatcher asked if Alexander had been suicidal or if anyone had reason to harm him.
What's going on?
A friend of ours is dead in his bedroom. We hadn't heard from him for a while. We think he's dead. His roommate just went in there and said there's lots of blood. I didn't go in, but I can give you the phone to someone who went in there.
Yes, please, can you?
Hello.
Hi, so what's going on?
He's dead. He's in his bedroom.
Okay.
In the shower.
Okay, how did this happen? Do you have any idea?
No, we have no idea. Everyone's been wondering about him for a few days.
She said that there was blood. So is it coming from his head? Did he cut his wrist?
It's all over the place.
Is there any weapons around?
No, I don't know. Not that I saw.
Alexander's friends mentioned Arias as a potential suspect, explaining that he had previously told them she was stalking him, accessing his social media accounts, and damaging his car. During a search of Alexander's home, police found his recently purchased digital camera damaged in the washing machine. They managed to recover deleted images that showed Arias and Alexander in intimate poses, taken at approximately 1:40 p.m. on June 4th. The last known photograph of Alexander alive, taken at 5:29 p.m. that day, shows him in the shower. Subsequent images captured moments later depict what appears to be Alexander, bleeding heavily, on the bathroom floor. A bloody palm print, containing DNA from both Arias and Alexander, was also found on the bathroom hallway wall. On July 9, 2008, a grand jury in Maricopa County, Arizona, indicted Arias for the first-degree murder of Alexander. She was arrested at her home 6 days later and extradited to Arizona on September 5th, pleading not guilty on September 11th. Throughout the investigation, Arias provided multiple accounts of her involvement in Alexander's death. Initially, she told police she had not been in Mesa on the day of the murder and claimed she last saw Alexander in March 2008. She later stated that 2 intruders had broken into Alexander's home, killing him and attacking her. After 2 years, Arias changed her account again, claiming she had killed Alexander in self-defense, alleging she had been a victim of domestic violence. Criminal action. On April 6, 2009, a motion to reconsider the defendant's request to disqualify the Maricopa County District Attorney's Office was denied. On May 18th, the court ordered that Arias undergo IQ and competency testing. In January 2011, a defense filing detailed Arias's attorney's efforts to obtain text messages and emails. Initially, the prosecution informed defense attorneys that no text messages sent or received by Alexander were available. However, the prosecution was later ordered to turn over several hundred messages. Mesa Police Detective Esteban Flores informed defense counsel that there was nothing unusual in Alexander's emails, approximately 8,000 of which were turned over to the defense in June 2009. Trial proceedings. Arias was represented by appointed attorneys L. Kirk Nurmi and Jennifer Wilmot. Jury selection. The trial began in Maricopa County Superior Court under Judge Sherry K. Stevens. Jury selection commenced on December 10, 2012. On December 20th, Arias's attorneys argued that the prosecution was systematically excluding women and black jurors. Prosecutor Juan Martinez countered that race and gender were irrelevant to his decisions to dismiss certain jurors. Judge Stevens ruled that no bias had been shown in the jury selection process. Guilt phase. During opening arguments on January 2, 2013, The prosecution portrayed Arias as a jealous individual who attacked Alexander, a good man, after he attempted to end their relationship. Arias's defense, however, alleged that Alexander had been violent and abusive, asserting that she killed him in self-defense after he lunged at her in anger. The prosecution argued that Arias premeditated the murder, staging a robbery at her grandparents' home to obtain a handgun to kill Alexander. A detective testified that the gun taken from her grandparents' home matched the caliber .25 ACP used in Alexander's shooting. The prosecution presented evidence that Arias purchased gas and used gas cans to avoid leaving a trail during her trip to Alexander's residence.
Ma'am, the other thing that you told us with regard to these gas cans is that you purchased one in Salinas, California, right?
Yes, I purchased it. Starbucks is in the same parking lot. I think I went there and then I returned it after that.
You said that you returned it back to the store, the Walmart in Salinas, right?
That's correct.
And it's the same store that you brought it from, right?
Yes.
Ryan Burns testified that Arias acted normally when she visited him the day after Alexander's death, claiming she had injured her hands on broken glass while working at a restaurant, though a detective later confirmed that no such establishment existed. The Jodi Arias trial was more than a case. It was a collision of tragedy, justice, and media frenzy. While the verdict provided closure for some, it left lasting questions about the intersection of law and spectacle. In the end, let us remember Travis Alexander for the life he lived, not the way it ended. What do you think? Was justice served? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more true crime stories.